I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Jamaican herbs and spices add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Good afternoon and welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Manning's man, and very soon we'll be joined by the host of this show, Pioneer, and he will be here with the gang. Yes, they will be here. Yeah, you understand me, doing some coverage on the NBA. So a big thank you to our sponsors. The sponsors of this video is Prestige Finance, lending a helping hand when you need it most. You can give them a call at 876-884-7390 and they will give you a loan of up to $100,000. Yes, all you have to do, people, is just let them know you're calling from I Am Sure Sports, and guess what? No processing fee, same day processing, and you will also yes get 0 to 4% interest rate. Also want to say thank you to Launch Legacy. Launch Legacy handle risk and seek legacy for all your personal financial needs in Canada and the USA. Visit them at launchlegacy.com or text or call 647-989-0782. They did a webinar on this platform a couple days ago on Thursday evening. You need to go and watch that. Good financial advice for you. Also, Trick Nick, the Jamaican-owned and operated company in Canada that uses authentic Jamaican herbs and spices to make all their products. Check them out. They have jerk sauce, jerk marinade, curry paste, and a host of other products. Check them out and let them know you heard about them from I Am Sure Sports. I'm going to be leaving the scene and I'm going to invite our guests to come on. At first, we're going to have G-Star, and then you'll be seeing Pioneer, and Kems will be here as well. Diego will be passing through, and Chris Lynch will be here. So let's welcome our guests to the show today. Here we go. G-Star, welcome.
Yes, sir. Afternoon, Mr. Management. How you doing?
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, wonderful. Take the show away now, because Pioneer is about to jump into the chair. So you can take it away. Yeah.
All right. All right. And I'll wait for the for the director, aka the general. Mr. Pioneer, greetings to internet land.
Blessings, 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 blessings. Good afternoon to one and all. My name is Pioneer, and this is I Am Sure Sports. And we are here again for another one in our series, another episode of Around the NBA. All right, I have G-Star in the house early with us. All right, we also have the man Kems in the house early with us. Welcome forward, gentlemen.
Yes, bless up.
Yeah, interesting happenings around the league this week. None so more interesting than the trade that has happened during the course of this week. We're expecting to be joined by Chris Lynch, and we might have a couple of other guests. You know, we keep it flicking that way, where we keep a surprise coming from time to time. Gentlemen, I want to start out the week though by looking at the games that will be happening today. I want to do a little forecast, and I'd like you guys to give us your opinions and your tips, and how we see these games going today. All right.
All right.
Let's start with the first game that will be on today. I find interesting that the NBA is a buzz, even on a weekend when they're having the Super Bowl. I think this is the first time in recent memory that I can remember so great a buzz around the NBA during a Super Bowl week and a Super Bowl weekend. But it as well for.
That's because Super Bowl normally finish before the NBA trade deadline. So that's all
right.
And there's parity. Like it seems this year there's a decent amount of contenders.
All right. That's has something to do with it too. And the trades that are happening over the trade weekend are, you can consider them monster trades.
Them on a blockbuster.
In the definitely G-Star blockbuster trades in the context of the NBA. All right, so let's proceed to the tips of the day. The first game we have on today is the Portland Trail Blazers at home to the New York Knicks. G-Star, give me a prediction for the game. How you see that one going?
I think Portland had a nice win. Who was it, over the Lakers?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So home to the Knicks. I think there'll be a letdown there, right? And kind of they are who they are. And I think the Knicks are a better team, and they're trying to get to that playing spot. So I think I'd go to the Knicks.
You're going with the Knicks away to Portland. How you see it going, Kims?
The night before Portland played the Lakers, they lost by 28 points to the Orlando Magic. So I know the Portland is not a good team. Obviously, they can't, get enough personnel right now. And the Knicks beat the Knicks put the brakes off your little Golden State Warriors there. So the Knicks have really been playing.
Warriors not little, Mudan. Warriors not little.
I address him.
If you lose to the Knicks, I don't want you nothing, boy. You're not listening. But anyway,
it's NBA.
Go ahead. You can proceed.
Anyway, as it relates to the game itself, the New York Knicks have been playing really good basketball. From Julius Randle asked for a trade and stuff. They have actually been playing better. So I'd go with the Knicks for this one. I think the odds are pretty good for the Knicks, so I like the Knicks in this one.
All right, I too am rolling with the Knicks on this game. But by the way, Kems, you don't beat the brakes off someone when you edge them by 2 points when they had a last shot to either win or tie the game. That's not what I consider beating the brakes of a team. It was a closely contested game. The Knicks were up at points in the game. The Golden State Warriors kept coming back. And at the end of the game, as I said, Golden State had the ball in hand with a shot to win or tie the game. And that shot was missed. So I wouldn't consider it beating the brakes off. As I said, I am rolling with both of you gentlemen. I think the Trailblazers win against the Lakers was more about the Lakers coming up small than Portland actually doing anything of note. New York is trying their endeavor best to see if they can at least make the play-in. They are sitting down in the standings right now. They are all the way down in 12th. They are about a game and a half after Hawks, who is sitting in 10th. So I think they'll be going all out to get that win tonight and try and close the gap in trying to make the play-in. Next game on the schedule for today is the next game on the schedule. We have the New Orleans Pelicans at home to the San Antonio Spurs.
James?
I think the Spurs played last night. If I'm not mistaken. They won. The second night of a back-to-back is always kind of tricky. But I think the Pelicans also played last night as well.
The Pelicans didn't play last night.
Oh, they didn't play last night. Okay,
No.
so good. And the Pelicans, I think they have, with the trade and stuff, I think they have improved. With CJ McCollum coming over and all that. And I think there, you mentioned about the Knicks, fighting for the play-in. I think, both these teams, want a chance to be in the play-in as well. They're not too far out. But I'm going to go with Pelicans victory for this one.
J-Star, how is this one going, J-Star?
Yeah, Pelicans and who?
Spurs.
Pelicans and the Spurs.
Spurs. This is a tough one. Where is it? It's in New Orleans?
In New Orleans.
And CJ, what's wrong with CJ? Is still hurt?
No, man. CJ played the last game for the Pelicans.
Alright, so I'm going with the Pelicans. With the Pelicans. With CJ and Brandon Ingram and Jonas Valanciunas.
All right. I guess we are all singing the same song. In the two first verses today. I too am rolling with the Pelicans. I think they like the New York Knicks. They are sitting in 10th in the West right now. I think they too, like the New York Knicks, are trying to maintain their position. They are trying to get up the standing, trying to make the play-in. There are a couple of games. There are 2.5 games off from the Lakers. I think the Pelicans would like to make at least the play-in tournament this year. So I can't see them losing at home to the Spurs. The Spurs, though, I think it's going to be a close game. The Spurs, Murray is playing great. He had a big game last night. I think he had a 30-point triple-double last night to beat Atlanta, in Atlanta. But I think second night back-to-back on the road might just be a little much for them against this Spurs team. So I'm rolling with the Spurs in a close game over rolling with the Pelicans in a close game over the Spurs for tonight.
Yeah, well, what's interesting about that in a Pioneer is that with this trade here, what's going on with Zion? You know what I'm saying?
We'll discuss
Is
that.
Zion going to even play this season?
So he's working on
there are some persons who think he might be back. He has some amount of work for putting in. Last time we saw him, he was weighing like 600 pounds.
Yeah, so I mean that's a big story in the NBA. What's going on with Zion?
It's definitely,
there was some videos. There was videos as late as yesterday with Zion, and he was working out, and it is believed around the league that he's trying his best to come back at some point this season. Even if it's just to play in the playing game or so. So they say he's a couple weeks away, from returning to full court contact and all that kind of stuff. But he's been trending in the right direction. Yeah, he's trending in the right direction.
But even if he's back in a month, that'd be good enough because I like that New Orleans team with CJ, Brandon Ingram, Zion, Jonas. They gave up Nickel Alexander-Walker, who's a nice player, and Josh Hart. But I like the point guard off the bench, Kira Lewis. Sorry, partner. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Like you, I like they started out the season pretty well. Before It all fell apart. So I think getting an experienced player like a CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram has been holding his own. He has been playing well all season. If Zion comes back in any semblance of shape, I could see them, in the plane
Looking nice.
and making a little noise. The truth is that though, if they make it into the plane, they possibly could knock off whoever they meet. But the light at the end of the tunnel would be them running up into either Golden State or the Phoenix Suns. So,
Or maybe they're not the Lakers, but the plane. Some people actually believe the Lakers won't even make the plane.
Yeah, those
Right?
people are drunk.
But
Those people are on drugs.
yeah, but you know it go. You know it go already with the Lakers.
before we get into those matters, gentlemen, let us kind of proceed and continue with the tips. Next game on the cards is a pretty interesting game too. It's the Charlotte Hornets at home to the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll start with you, Kems. Tell me how you see that one going.
Well, Memphis is still one of the hottest teams, in the NBA right now.
They are actually the hottest. They are actually the hottest team. They have the longest winning streak going right now.
Yeah, well, very fearless. Obviously, they go as far as their leader takes them. And Ja Morant, playing fantastic basketball right now. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think Charlotte played yesterday. I think they played yesterday against Detroit. They won. I think Terry Rozier had a triple-double as well. So, again, going to be second night of a back-to-back, to duplicate the same effort that you did the night before. I think it's kind of tough. And, Memphis is, I don't know how if they think they can get that number 2 seed, because I think, avoiding Phoenix at all costs until the quote-unquote conference finals is what you should aim to do right now. I don't think the Memphis is afraid of Golden State. I think they know that they can beat Golden State and play with Golden State. So I'm going with the Memphis Grizzlies for this game.
J-Star, you see that game going? Charlotte Hornets at home.
That's an excellent game. That's an excellent game. And
at home to Memphis.
Yeah, you see the thing about that, last night, LaMelo scored 33 and was giving Cade Cunningham the business. Cade Cunningham the number 1 pick in the draft, right?
Mhm.
And he was like getting a lot of blowbacks, right? No, it's Ja Morant versus LaMelo Ball, 2 all-stars, right? I thought LaMelo should have gotten the first time. So that makes it this a dynamic contest tonight, right? And then what Charlotte did, they got Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell has been playing some ball for the Washington Wizards this year.
Definitely, I think that will
boost them. They'll give them a boost.
Definitely,
right? So, obviously the Memphis Grizzlies are the favorites. I don't have to look at the odds to know that, right? But I'm gonna go with the Charlotte Hornets home with an upset, going off for that, just the energy. And I'm happy for Michael Jordan. He's finally built a team. That's exciting.
All right, gentlemen, we have been joined by Chris Lynch.
Yeah, big up the viewers.
Yes, up, Chris Lynch. Welcome forward. I want to acknowledge a couple of persons in the chat. Big up Gunners Boss, good for us to have joined us again, my brethren. I want to big up Loud Music Entertainment too. Loud Music Entertainment is informing us that Kareem Paris just scored 2 goals in the league that he's playing overseas. Give thanks to that information. I want to big up Skillo, 1-on-1. Preacher, I want to bless you. Preacher is tuning in. It would be good, Preacher, if you could join us in the stream in a little while also. So I want to say blessings and welcome forward to everyone who is in the stream. So Chris Lynch, we started some tips, but we asked if you join us in giving your tips also on these games that we have on for today. We had looked at 2 games already. We had looked at Blazers at home to Knicks. We had looked at Pelicans at home to Spurs. And now we are looking at the Hornets at home to the Grizzlies. So we're going to make a start with the most current game we just discussed, Hornets at Grizzlies. Let's give you quick tips. And maybe a one line as to exactly why you're picking.
Yeah, like G Star said, the Hornets did pick up a good pickup.
Trez.
Manchester Arrel.
Yeah.
He gets to play with his college teammate that he played at Louisville with. That's Terry Rozier. Two of them is from Louis. The two of them played college basketball at Louisville. So
All right.
obviously they're going to enjoy that friendship, and there's a locker room connection right away. But Ja Morant is just boosting in confidence and just getting better and better. And I think they play as a team. They even when he was out, like you said, Pioneer in a previous stream, they still managed to get points. They still managed to win games, and they play as a team. That's what you want when a superstar is out there able to win games.
Definitely.
So I am scared of the Grizzlies, and that's why I'm picking them. But I think it should be a close one.
All right. The other two games that we mentioned earlier. The Pelicans at home. Pelicans at home to the Spurs. How you see that one going?
Right, straight up, I think CJ should come in to that team. But straight up, I'm going with the Pelicans.
All right. And the Knicks away to the Blazers. Portland Trail Blazers home to the Knicks.
Yeah, the Blazers get some, I don't know if it's a confidence boost, because you beat a team that everyone basically can beat in the NBA. So the Lakers, the Blazers did beat the Lakers. Everyone in the NBA can beat them on any given night. So I don't know if that's a confidence booster, but yes, it is. When you beat LeBron James and Anthony Davis, it's a confidence booster. So that one is tight, so I'm rolling with the Blazers.
All right. Skilch 100. I see you asking us what we think about the Bulls. We'll be discussing that later. We have that on the agenda to discuss. We'll be discussing the Bulls and the Grizzlies later on in the show. So just keep tuned in. You'll hear our views on that. Going back to the picks, my pick on the Grizzlies Hornets game. I'm going to the Grizzlies. I want to disagree with you, Kems, when you said they go where their leader takes them. As Chris Lynch just pointed out, Ja Morant has missed significant time in the season, maybe about 10 games. I think there were 7-3 in those 10 games. They have a good team led by people like Bain and Jaren Jackson Jr. So they hold their own even without Ja Morant. Ja Morant is a superstar in the team. He's playing great basketball. He is an MVP candidate in my estimation. I'm rocking again with the Grizzlies over the Hornets. Should be another close game. Should be another good game. Some good games on today. Next game we're looking at, gentlemen. Wizards at home to the Kings. Another interesting game.
Hold on a minute.
Go ahead.
Right. What I was saying was, right, just like with the Warriors right now, Draymond Green is not playing. You see, and the Warriors were on a 8-game winning streak or 9-game winning streak, one of those winning streaks. But Draymond Green is not playing. But obviously, when Draymond Green is playing, it's a total different Warriors team. There's no doubt about it.
Agreed.
So with the Memphis Grizzlies, they'll win some games without Ja Morant. But let's say they go into a playoff series. You don't expect them to win that playoff series.
No, but we're not talking about playoffs. We understand that.
No. But I'm just saying they'll go as far as
in reference to this game, you said they go as far as their leader takes.
No, I wasn't talking in reference to this game. I was just talking about the totality.
Generally, all right, understand. Yes. I understand. Another interesting game, gentlemen, as I say, is Wizards at home to the Kings. How you see this one going? For me, it's another interesting game again. Christian, you go start in. Give me your views on that.
Yeah, I think the Kings, the Kings basically look like they're in transition again. It's very hard to pick them to win games based on how trades have went. And notable that the trade for Sabonis that's going to be on the bench because he's not on the bench, but he's out for the season injured. Mm-hmm. So I'm going with the Wizards. I think they were heavy in forward position where Manchester Arrel was, and basically they don't really lose out because he had to be coming off the bench, even though he's been putting up good numbers. Mm-hmm. But I think the Wizards will be able to pull off this one.
Kems, I see you have a frown on your face. How do you see this going, Kems? It's like you're disagreeing
with Sabonis injured. When he got injured, the last game?
No, man, he played in the last game. Actually, he played to our surprise because G-Star and I, when we did the last podcast and we were previewing the game, G-Star had mentioned that he don't think he will be playing. He played pretty well actually.
Absolutely.
That mean I got the name wrong. That mean I got the name
Oh.
wrong.
Let me tell you.
Trade from the
Let me tell
Cavs to the Cavs to the Kings. It was a 3-team deal.
Cavs to the Kings. Who was that, G-Star?
He was
Cavs-
injured
No,
at the Cavs.
I don't know the player who he's talking about who's injured for the season.
Oh, you're
I was
talking
kind of
Ricky
wondering.
Rubio? You're talking Ricky
Rubio.
Rubio?
Yeah,
Ricky Rubio. Okay.
All right.
yeah,
let me
he
tell
went
you-
to the Kings. So that's where
Yeah,
I
man.
get it
Yeah.
from.
All right, let me tell you something. The Kings haven't played a game since when? I think it was since 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So I think they have some time off, definitely, and I think they're a much better team now with Sabonis, with Fox. Harrison Barnes seem to, get lively. You get Rock's body heal out the place. You make the place feel light and feel good. Obviously Washington, they beat the Nets the other day, but Washington don't have a team. They just made some trades. They got rid of Dinwiddie, and so Porzingis won't be playing. Bradley Beal is out for the season. And the Kings right now are.
Who says Porzingis won't play? Sure.
I now when I looked at the report, it says will not play.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I think that and Fox, definitely Fox have a resurgence. There's no more. I don't remember the ball of the name Hallingburtt or Burton. That guy, that point guard with the trades Indiana. Yeah, him. So it's Fox team, Fox and Sabonis, and they look good the other night against Minnesota because they played Minnesota the previous night and they lost because Sabonis didn't play that game, and then they played the following night and Sabonis was absolutely a monster, dominated Towns and did what he did. So I think against this Wizards team that is short-handed, short man, I think this is going to be an easy double-digit win, for the Kings in this.
All right, G-Star. Tell me you see that going, G-Star.
All right. One of the reasons why the Sacramento Kings are the Sacramento Kings is because in that draft that we're all talking about, or the trades with Sacramento, Marvin Bagley is somewhere in the NBA right now, but they traded him. Marvin Bagley was the player that was picked before Trae Young and Luka Doncic. All right?
Yep.
So they could have used Luka Doncic over Marvin Bagley. So they didn't just give up Marvin Bagley, they gave up Buddy Hield. He doesn't rate Buddy Hield, but Buddy Hield is one of the best shooters in the NBA. Period.
I see preacher laughing at Kems's
but he's a
Drugs
top
Buddy
10
Hield.
shooter in the NBA for sure. And then
No,
he's not.
No,
All right, after the
Like,
year, you can check.
G-Star, we can proceed with it because Kems's criticism of Buddy Hield is only because persons make reference that the Lakers should have
No, but no problem. But
instead of
after
Russell
year,
Westbrook. So Kems,
tell
I
me
understand the
who are the
position, my
best
virgin,
10?
but LeBron
Who are the
made that
best
era,
10
and he's
after?
gonna have to live with that era for hopefully not for the rest of his life, but at least for the rest of the season. So,
All right. So Sacramento, they're a better team. Kems just alluded to that. They're a better team with Sabonis. He's a borderline all-star, and they're going for the play-in/playoffs. Right. That was the primary objective with this trade. Bradley Beal out for the season. Lots of trades went down. Players don't know each other. We don't only know the kind of vibe, so the vibe could be suspect. And I think, Sacramento had a lot of trades too. But I just think go with the better team and a team that is more looking to make the playoffs. Sacramento.
I agree. Getting Sabonis. Sabonis had 22 and 14, by the way, in the last game. 22 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. He was a monster in that game. Harrison Barnes had 30. Fox had 27. That three sum is dangerous. I am rolling with the Kings. A show that we did when we were predicting playoffs and playing teams, I had the Kings making the play-in. The Pelicans are 2 places above them right now. I think the Kings are in 13th or 12th. But I still have them making that push. As I said, G-Star, I think this trade facilitates them making that push. So I am rolling with the Kings in this game over the I am rolling with the Kings to they are on the road, but I'm picking them to win this one.
Over the Wizards.
Yeah, Kings over the Wizards in this one for me, even though the Kings are on the road. Next game on the schedule is 76ers versus the 76ers at home, actually, to the the Cleveland Cavaliers. Not a big game. Two teams that are on a high. It's a Eastern Conference matchup. How do you see this one going, gentlemen? We'll start with you, G-Star. We could keep it kind of short and spicy.
Yeah, man. I like the matchup of the traded two guards, James Harden and Karis LeVert, and because they were also traded for each other, right? So fresh vibes all in the place. That's a tough one to call. Where is it? Philly?
It's in Philly, yeah.
Oh, and if James Harden should play?
More
Than likely. I have to go with Philly. Remember, Philly is the city of brotherly love. So you see the excitement in the building tonight? That actually trumps LaMelo and now the youth of Memphis. Ja, this is the marquee tonight right here. And then no, good team. Cleveland's a good team. We'll all like Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. But I have to go with the emotions tonight. And the emotions are in the city of brotherly love.
Kems, what's your views on Sixers versus Cavs?
Well, obviously, I think, I like Cleveland. I think Cleveland is a good team. Will make the playoffs. But in this night, it's all about the 76ers. I told you guys, as soon as James Harden got traded, that hamstring will be healed as soon as the trade went through, and he's ready to go. Philadelphia, they played last night. They played against the Thunder, and they won that game. So I'm not really sure. They don't like to play Joel Embiid in back-to-backs.
That's a concern I have to.
But I don't think they have a backup center right now, or a legit backup center, because they traded away Andre Drummond, and they're trying to get another center in the buyout market. But I just think that with James Harden there, I think Joel Embiid will push to try and play. I think Joel Embiid is excited, get rid of the toxicity out of the team, and I'm going with the Sixers for this one.
All right. Quickly, Chris Lynch. We're going to slide fast on this, gentleman. I don't want to spend too much time on these picks. Just
man. We're rolling with the 76ers. Expect a good game, though. This should be a good game because it could end up that these two teams might play off in the playoffs. So it should be an exciting one.
All right. I am going against the grain, gentlemen. I go for the upset, I'm going for the Cavaliers to upset in this one. All right. Reason being, as I said, Kems, the Sixers are on the second night back to back. Will they play Embiid tonight? Is anybody's guess. If they do play him, I don't think they'll play him for big minutes. I don't know if James Harden coming in, the chemistry and the cohesion is right. I like this Cleveland Cavaliers team, as I've said many times. I'm picking them for the upset tonight. I might be wrong, but for me, Cleveland Cavaliers for the upset tonight. Next game on the schedule for today is we're moving quickly, gentlemen. The Raptors at home to the Nuggets. Nuggets are on the second night back to back. For full disclosure, Chris Lynch, how you see that name going?
Yeah, the Nuggets look like they're getting into their own, but they're at home. Toronto is at home.
Toronto is at home.
Yeah, we're rolling with the Raptors at home. Again, look like some very great games that you have mentioned thus far.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yes, but I'm rolling with the Raptors at home.
Nuggets last night to the Celtics, 108-102 on the road also. Tonight they are in Toronto. Kems, how you see that one going?
Well, a lot of persons tell me about Joker. He almost had a quadruple double. Last night he had 9 turnovers. Was one short. But I'm going to go with Denver to win this game. I'm not sure if Joker going to play, but if he plays, then I'm going for them to win. Because I think that the team will come back. I don't think Toronto is as good of a team as the standings make it seem. They have some players that play hard, they're coached well. But I think that the Nuggets can win this game. So I'm going with the Nuggets.
All right, G-Star, quickly, how you see that one going, G-Star?
Yeah, I'm going with the Raptors. A balanced scoring attack. They're playing at home.
Are you going to the Raptors? I am going with the Raptors too. I think Denver loses their second game on the road. Back-to-back game. I like the Toronto team. I like what they're doing. Fred Van Fleek is an all-star. Pascal Siakam, OG Ananobi. Toronto at home. I'm picking Toronto to win tonight. Next game on the card, gentlemen, quickly, is the Heat at home to the Nets. How do you see this one going? Another good game, another big game. Kyrie Irving should be playing in this game tonight. How do you see it going, G-Star?
I think this makes double digits, unfortunately. Right? I don't think Benson.
They're on a 10-game losing streak. The
Oh,
Nets.
sorry, it's already double digits, but it's
Already
gonna be
double
11.
digits.
Yeah, it's gonna be 11, and it's gonna get even uglier, right? And for me, I want it to get ugly because sometimes you have to go to the bottom to get to the top, and for the Nets, you don't know Steve Nash. He's the problem, or a problem. But they're not gonna have enough. That's at the end of the day, they won't have enough. So Nets not winning this one.
Kems, how you see it going, Kems?
Obviously, I'm going with my team, the Miami Heat, my city. They're number one in the East. They're playing excellent basketball right now, and they're going up against a team that's full of scrubs. Just for full disclosure, people, when Steve Nash was hired, Kyrie Irving come out and say, I don't think we have a coach. One day I could be the coach, KD could be the coach, Harden could be the coach. Remember, Kyrie said that. So I don't want to hear any complaints about Steve Nash. But with that being said, the spread is 10.5. I think the Heat will probably win by 20 or so. Because if you lose to Washington Wizards, that shows me that the team is not ready. But Seth Curry might play tonight, so you might have a little shooting, but he can't stop me, our Pioneer. So that would be a good game. So I'm going with the Miami Heat by about 20 points tonight.
All right. What do you say, Chris Lynch? Quickly, we are slide quickly, gentlemen. Because we have a couple of minutes.
I'm rolling with the Nets. I think that the bleeding needs to stop, and Kyrie Irving come out vintage, probably a 50-pointer tonight, and I think he takes them over the line.
I too am going with the upset. I'm going with the Nets tonight for the upset. There's sometimes watching basketball. Sometimes when personally, this is for me, I get a feeling about some games. I have a feeling about tonight's game. I have a feeling about Kyrie Irving tonight. And I'm rolling with the upset. I'm rolling with the New Year, with the Brooklyn Nets for the game tonight. But we're moving along quickly. Bulls at home to the Thunders. This should be a gimme, in my opinion. Let me give my opinion first. I'm rolling with the Chicago Bulls. Can't see the Thunders. Thunders are on second night back-to-back. So are the Bulls. The Bulls are on second night back-to-back. The Bulls are at home. They were at home last night. They beat the Timberwolves at home last night. For me, this is a gimme. Bulls over the Thunders. What you say, gentlemen? Quickly.
Yeah, Bulls. That's a gimme. Sure pick. Bulls.
I'm going with the Bulls. But DeMar DeRozan has been on a tear. I think he has scored 30 points in probably the last 4 or 5 games. Doing well. So Bulls easily.
What you say, Chris Lynch?
Yeah, rolling with the Bulls.
Rolling with the Bulls. Next game on tonight. Big game. Warriors at home to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Quick, wow, there's some monster games tonight.
Hey, persons in the comment section, let it be known that this same Golden State Warriors at full strength, minus Draymond Green, just lost to the New York Knicks. The Lakers now have trade deadline is over. Everybody can breathe. Everybody can take a sigh of relief. The Lakers will come out very inspired. There's no Draymond Green there to defend Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis won't be scared. So he'll get probably 30 and 17. And I'm rolling with LeBron and them boys tonight to win by 5 or more. Lakers with the upset.
What you said, G-Star?
Where's this game? In LA or Golden State?
No, Golden State.
All right, I can go with the Warriors in this one. Kim's made some good points about Anthony Davis, but I heard Anthony Davis didn't take a shot in the fourth quarter of his last game
against the Blazers.
That says something, right? So even if you don't have a mismatch, you're Anthony Davis. So it should be a spirited contest between these two. So Steph Curry, LeBron James rivalry is out of this world. I'm gonna go with the Warriors playing at home, and they need a win.
All right. Just Chris Lynch, quickly.
Yeah, nobody else need a win more than the Lakers. They are touted to win the championship. People have them as one of the best teams in the league when they were assembled. But um, I think because of the trade deadline and like what the coach said, I'm using the coach words. He said training was just different yesterday, and that tells you of how much people probably just happy to get the trade deadline behind them. And I think they start tonight. I think they need to get on a winning streak to show that they can cause some problem in the West. And I think there's no better place to do it than in Golden State against a team that's playing good basketball.
So you're picking the Lakers to win tonight. Personally, I'm picking the Warriors tonight. Warriors
Wow.
have not lost 3 games consecutively this season. They lost 2 back-to-back games. I don't see them losing tonight. I see a very good game going down to the wire. And even in the absence of Draymond Green, good point that Kim's just made about Draymond not being there to guard AD. I think the Lakers come up a little short. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry will be on fire tonight. In a good game, close game, I'm picking the Warriors to win. Moving on.
Hey, one quick question there, Pioneer. One quick question. When last have you seen Steph Curry on fire? That's all. Just one quick question.
He was pretty
Around
good.
3 months now.
Houston Rockets.
He dropped 40 last week in a game last week.
All right.
So
40 on the Rockets.
you're talking about the flame boss, man. Him can catch fire anytime. Don't do that, Kems, man. Come on.
Yeah, you noticed
game
Steph Curry.
gentlemen. I think we're going kind of overtime with this segment, so we'll go on, run through this. Mavericks versus Clippers. Just give me a picks. We don't even no elaborating.
Mavs versus who?
Mavericks.
Mavericks versus Clippers. Mavericks at home to the Clippers.
Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Mavericks.
Kems.
Mavericks. They played the Clippers just the other day.
Yeah, man.
Luka give a 50 piece. So
Mavericks are on second night back to back. They didn't play last night.
They played the Clippers.
I think the last game they played was actually the Clippers, really. So
easy win for Mavs.
Chris Lynch, how is that going?
Rolling with the Solvini and Luka Doncic. So Mavericks.
All right, my boss. I am rolling with the Mavericks also. Last game of the night is for me is a gimme. It's the Suns at home to the Magics. For me, the Suns are the best team in basketball right now. They're healthy. Suns over Magics for me.
Yeah, Suns, easy.
What you said, Kems?
Obviously, the Suns the best team in the NBA. You saw what they did to the Bucks the other day. Just toy with them. And things. So Suns easily.
All right. What you say, Chris Lynch?
Yeah, man. Rolling with the Suns.
All right. So I'm going to flip the script a little bit, gentlemen. Just because Kim just mentioned it. We're going to look on that game that happened 2 nights ago. Suns versus the Bucks. I'm going to start. As I just said a while ago, I think the Phoenix Suns are the best team in basketball. They're whole. They're healthy. They've been playing together for a while. I made mention of this a couple of podcasts ago. They have reinforced the big man position. They got JaVale McGee. They went on the market and got signed to a 10-day contract first. I know they have signed him for the season. Bismack Biyombo will be with them for the rest of the season. We saw how well he played against Giannis the other night. I think he kind of softened up Giannis and allowed DeAndre Ayton to dominate Giannis in the stretches of the game that he was matched up against him. The Suns are a great team. I said a few podcasts ago to that the only team I see in the NBA beating the Suns is the Golden State Warriors. That for me is gonna be probably a 6 or 7 game series. It's gonna be a good matchup. The Suns, undeniable for me, are the best team in basketball. They showed it in what was a finals rematch. They showed it again against the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks. I think they outplayed them in every area of the court. Kem said they were tying with them. I wouldn't call it tying. I would say they were testing their mettle against them. Bridges has improved 3-folds. Cam Johnson is a far better player than he was last season. I liked what I saw from them against the defending champions. And it augurs well for them going towards the playoff. Gentlemen, you can give me your views on that game. Suns versus the Bucks.
I'll talk really quickly. There's not really much for me to say. But the point guard was doing God stuff.
Yeah.
19 assists, 17 points. And the reason why I said that the Suns were toying with them, it was pick and roll, DeAndre and Chris Paul all day, all night. And no matter what they did, the Bucks just couldn't stop it. Giannis was on a streak of, he was in that category with Joel Embiid and LeBron for the most 25 points and higher games. Obviously, that streak was broken because he only scored 18 points. And I must give you credit, and I think G-Star said it as well, about, the Bismarck being about the Javel McGee, because I think if you look back at the finals, DeAndre Ayton just could not manage Giannis. Giannis was just barbecue chicken. So getting more big bodies to throw against Giannis, I think that was awesome. And obviously, Devin Booker is sensational. And I just think that game had a playoff atmosphere. And I think you said it in the chat. These teams are playing like it's a playoff game, like it's a final series. One last thing that you said, the Warriors can't match up to this team. Suns at their best and Warriors at their best. The Warriors might get one game. This Suns team is too good. Everybody know their roles. Jay Crowder, Elfrid Payton, everybody just know what they're supposed to do and execute it at a high level. So I love the Suns, and it's going to be Suns Lakers Western Conference Finals.
I gotta say somebody there. And Christine, tell me what you said quickly, Virgin.
Yeah, I don't think there's no better basketball team in basketball better than the Bucks. They give me a feeling of that LeBron James Cleveland team when no matter where they finish in the standing, you just know that LeBron James is going to come alive. And that's what Giannis is doing right now. He's going to come alive in the playoffs, gentlemen. Do not let that game misguide you, because no one can manage him. That game is a misguided game. Do not use that game to judge anything that will happen in the playoffs. The playoffs is going to be all Giannis. Giannis is going back to the finals. So that game, like you said, the Suns are doing what they're doing. I don't think they have any higher ceiling to go. But what I know is that the Bucks are playing like when LeBron was in the East, and they just do what they got to do, qualify, and then go and just go and dismantle the team. So it's the same feeling, Pioneer. There's no one that can beat this Bucks team. Don't use that misguided game to do that. You're gonna have games like that in the season, and the Bucks been looking like they can go up a notch, and they're just not doing it. But the Suns have been playing so great that I just think that they can't go no more than what they are doing.
All right, G-Star. Let me hear your views on G-Star and the Suns.
All right, that sounded like a decent amount of guess from Chris Lynch a while ago with the Bucks, that the Bucks can be beaten. I don't know about that one there.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say, the Bucks are definitely in cruise control. There was no Brook Lopez, but seeing what we saw, the Bucks were able to score. But for me, I was wrong actually. We were talking about this last week with DeAndre Ayton. I said that DeAndre Ayton didn't really, they haven't incorporated him in the offense more, where he gets a mismatch. They go to him like all the time. But now, maybe he's gained more confidence in Chris Paul or what have you. But Chris Paul is they are looking for DeAndre Ayton when there's a mouse in the house. A lot of times before last year, there's a mouse in the house and they're not looking for him. This year, they're looking for him. So I think that is transferable, Chris Lynch, because that's a Chris Paul, DeAndre pick and roll. How do you stop that without double teaming? Go ahead. You want to say something?
One second. I totally disagree with you, and I disagreed with you before, and I'll disagree with you again. DeAndre Ayton was one of the first ones to come out and say the Chris Paul addition to the team has really helped his game, because Chris Paul has always looked for him since he has joined the team, and he has. And if you look at DeAndre Ayton numbers since Chris Paul come in, he has looked for him. He has ensured that Chris Paul has a mantra where he feeds the big fella. That him call it. Feed the big fella, feed the big guy, and he has always done that. Obviously, in the finals, I think the Bucks had something to do with it, where they freeze out DeAndre Ayton, and I think his confidence was waning because Giannis was just dominating him on the defensive end. But I feel like Chris Paul has always looked for DeAndre Ayton, and that's why he was up to.
All right, so we're talking about reputation, right? I think you have it a little bit wrong. Chris Paul's reputation is he holds on to the ball a lot, right? That's actually Blake Griffin, right? Yeah.
What? That's
Yeah,
not
a
true.
part of
That's
that was
that,
Blake
that
Griffin.
no that.
They
All right,
won
Jen.
lob city.
No,
All right,
hold
all
on, give me
right.
a second of pioneer. Hold on, give me a second
Yeah.
of pioneer. Because I can't make G-Star get to with them kind of things. They must have
All right, go ahead.
podcast, brother. Remember, Chris Paul is the one who made DeAndre Jordan an
All
all-star.
right, thanks.
And DeAndre
All right, fair
Jordan's
enough.
ability to
We
make
know
him
that,
an
and we know
all-star.
what he does with Tyson Chandler. We know what he does with DeAndre Jordan. Yes, but he's the one who's creating the play. Does Chris Paul give up the ball so somebody else can give up the ball to that person? In other words, like a Steph Curry motion offense, or does he control the game?
No, but that's not.
Does Chris,
All right,
you speak. Does Chris Paul control the game? Yes or no?
Yes, that's what he's supposed to do. He's the best point guard in the league.
And not every player likes that. All right.
He does like it, but
But anyway, we're not going to discuss that. We're talking about DeAndre Ayton.
We'll talk about it after.
All right.
I see them looking for him.
You have a supporter, Kems, we say Paula Hines 111Y saying to you, Lakers share that look like a lady. Lakers may have bring, obviously that's what she's saying. So you have a female supporter.
Well, Miami Heat is my team, but I like LeBron. But big up yourself, Paula, said Steve.
All right. Gentlemen, as I said, for me, this Phoenix Suns team, based on what they did the other night, shows that, and I understand what G-Star and Chris Lynch is saying about the Bucks. This game might have meant more to Phoenix than to the Bucks. Of course,
yeah, they lost
the final last year and they were at home. They wanted to prove a point. I understand that. But looking at the game and how the game unfolded and what they did against the strengths that the Bucks have, I think they negated a lot of the Bucks' strengths and they showed up at some of the Bucks' weakness. All right, so in a 7-game series, gentlemen, if these two teams play again and they are all healthy, my money will be squarely on the Phoenix Suns.
Absolutely.
Undoubtedly. All right, so we're going
Pioneer, like I told you guys, LeBron to Raptors did the same thing like what I see the Suns do. I have seen this movie already. I've watched it already.
The difference is, Chris Lynch. The difference is, and I pointed it out, is that the Bucks identified, the Phoenix Suns identified where they were exploited last year. They shored up their big man position. Remember, right now they are playing without their two backup guards, Cameron Payne and that little fellow that they got from San Antonio. What's his name again? G-Star.
Shamit.
From San Antonio to the Clippers and now to the Phoenix. And those are two good players. Saying so, if they are healthy come playoff time, they're covered at every position and they're gonna be a very hard team to beat. As I said, the only team I see beating this team, and it'll be in the conference final, is my Golden State Warriors. I'll move on, gentlemen, because
I think Suns are more of a regular season team.
Huh?
I think Suns are more of a regular season team.
They were in the final. G-Star, I can't answer that. They were in the finals last year. Come on, G-Star, man. Don't do that.
Yeah, but everybody got injured. AD got injured. Kawhi got injured. And who else got injured?
But
injuries,
you can't call them.
That's their big one. That's AD.
We're gonna be talking about them again, man. We're not saying nothing.
G-Star, there were two wins. They were 2 wins away from being champions, Brethren. Don't call them. They were 2-0 up on the.
You're saying why they got to the finals. I'm saying AD got injured. Kawhi got injured.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray got injured.
G-Star, every year somebody get injured. It's a part of the game.
Yeah, man, you have to work. I could say Chris Paul was injured in the finals.
Oh, they're a very good team in the bro. Don't get it twisted. I believe they're more of a regular season team.
I disagree with you that they are a regular season team. They are made it to the promised land and they're playing good basketball. Let's see what happens, Brethren. That's all we can say.
Hey, remember we thought Utah was better than them last year, or a lot of people thought Utah was better than Phoenix.
Hey, funny enough, yes, G-Star.
And Utah was a regular season team.
I was the one vouching for the Suns, and this Pioneer, I was voting for the Suns last year.
Yeah,
I can remember Pioneer telling me about the Jazz.
Yeah.
The Jazz, no, that was talking about the Jazz and Milwaukee.
The Jazz are a regular season team.
Jazz are,
Jazz is a
Jazz
regular
are,
season
well,
team.
let's see. The Jazz have something to prove again. They have kind of, made some moves, and they have some injuries. So let's see what happens. Anyway, gentlemen, we'll look at the trade. We'll look at the trades that happen, and there's nowhere else to start but the big one. But before we get to the big trade, let me just say this as an overview, because we're not getting to it. The Lakers did nothing in the trade window. All right. I heard LeBron James and Rob Pelinka was busy on the phone trying to trade away Russell Westbrook. Obviously, nobody wanted him. Understand that when it came down to about an hour before the trade deadline, LeBron actually called a GM and offered Westbrook for some peanuts. And the GM's response was, Virgin, you know how much a bushel for peanut, my lad? So the man couldn't even get rid of Westbrook, that him for peanuts. Nobody wants Westbrook. See, so that's out of the way. Let us look at.
Let us start off on that, Pioneer.
No, man,
LeBron was quiet in that trade because he knew that he messed up. So he didn't, like the reports are saying, LeBron kept his mouth shut because he would have messed up already. And now to come out and blame Russell Westbrook, he would have looked like he's using it as a scapegoat. He and Anthony Davis.
I don't want us to get led down that rabbit hole. Lakers did nothing in the trade.
Nothing.
And we are discussing trades. So let's actually discuss.
Hold on, no, Pioneer. You see, this is what I don't like in a Pioneer. You like to try to take some little subtle shots and then say, oh, let's move on. No, we can't do that. Listen to me.
All right, I'm with him on this one, Pioneer. I'm with him on this one. I'm with Kems on this one.
Chris Lynch, stop come on this podcast and tell people foolishness, because that is absolutely false. If you look at reporters who actually report on the Lakers, you will see what the real report is. Don't say any foolishness about LeBron and AD was quiet, because they weren't. They disagreed with Rob Pelinka when Rob Pelinka wanted to stay pat. They disagreed with it, but obviously Rob Pelinka is the GM, so he's going to do what he's going to do. The Rockets offered John Wall and Eric Gordon for Russell Westbrook, THT, and the 2027 first round pick. Rob Pelinka didn't want to give up the 2027 first round pick. You think LeBron give a blasted about the 2027 first round pick? LeBron will be probably out of the league by that time. But they just it's giving away one even for the other. John Wall can hardly stay healthy. At least if Westbrook is playing trash, at least he's healthy. He's giving us minutes. John Wall will probably be hurt in 2 weeks. I am perfectly fine with what the Lakers doing. Westbrook is going to start playing better. I can assure you that. There's a lot of talks between the teams, in the Lakers organization, how to use Westbrook. And I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing it tonight. He's going to play more with the bench, so he can be Westbrook, but just look out. Look out for the Lakers.
Kems, when you use rubbish, there's no better source than Brian Windhorst in the NFL, in the NBA, brother. Brian Windhorst report. Listen, brother. Listen. Why you don't listen, brother? I just allow you to talk. Brian Windhorst report that LeBron James and Anthony Davis was silent and didn't partake in anything that was taking place on trade deadline. So if you want to argue about his report, then you're going to beat him. I am saying that I could believe that.
Chris Lynch, stick up in. Gentlemen, we are discussing trades, and the Lakers didn't make a trade. Listen, I'm in touch with Kem's lady, you know. I talk to him lady this morning. I tell him, say, for Valentine's Day, she need to buy my bunch of purple and gold pom-poms. See? And I'm buying my Russell Westbrook jersey. See, guys.
And put 0 rings. Don't put Westbrook on it. Put 0 rings.
Gentlemen, let's discuss the big trade of that. The Philadelphia 76ers traded Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, 2 first-round picks, one in 2022, which is unprotected, and a protected 2027 pick, to the Brooklyn Nets for James Harden. That's the trade we want to discuss. G-Star, I'm start with you. Tell me what your opinion on the trade, and tell me who won the trade. Gentlemen, we have probably about 15 minutes left, and we have other matters to discuss. So we'll spend maybe about 10 minutes to discuss this trade. Give me your opinion, G-Star, on the trade, and tell me who do you think won the trade.
Yeah. Now let me just say first, though, I believe a lot of people are underestimating John Wall. I think the Lakers should have pulled the trigger if that was indeed.
Don't trade that, my G-Star. Why you wasting your time over
No,
there,
for
man?
John Wall. I'm just talking about for John Wall. I just
John
think John
Wall?
Wall.
J-Star,
Yeah.
man.
But anyway, moving on.
J-Star, we
Moving
move
on.
on, man. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Don't
moving
trade
on.
that, my
I just want-
G-Star.
No trade
I
happened.
just
Why we
want
waste
that.
time on a trade that didn't happen? We can leave. John Wall is not playing. The Lakers didn't make no trade. We have discussed the trade that
Yeah.
actually
So
happened. The biggest sporting
yeah.
event, one of the biggest
All
sporting
right.
events
So
in the
James
world
Harden.
this week.
Yeah. So let's start it now. So kick it down. So James Harden wanted out in Houston. Now he wanted out in Nets. The general manager, I heard it out of his own mouth, saying that me and James Harden, we were having talks from 2 days ago, right? So more than likely, James Harden went to him and said, "Hey, I want out," right?
Mhm.
So the Brooklyn Nets get Ben Simmons, first team All NBA defender, maybe, yeah, obviously, so that makes him a top 5 defender in the league, a playmaker. I think the main reason why they really got Ben Simmons though is to guard Giannis, right? Because they don't really have anybody on the team that can guard Giannis, and KD tried. KD's my baller, but he tried and he failed in crunch time, game 7 down the stretch, right? So they got Ben Simmons, Joe Harris being out. They got Seth Curry.
Seth Curry.
Seth Curry's little brother, right?
Mhm.
The Curry's son, top shooter. And then they got Andre Drummond. It's funny, I heard Skip Bayless. I forgot about this, the big penguin. But so they got Andre Drummond, who's an excellent rebounder. And that's a deficit for them, right? Now the Philly.
Texas, yeah, man.
I thought the Philly wins the trade, right? We don't know if James Harden was going to sulk all season, and we don't know if Ben Simmons
Ben Simmons
was going to come back, right? So maybe the Nets were desperate as well because they don't want to lose James Harden for anything for free in the offseason, possibly, right?
Mhm.
So, but for the Philly point of view, is Ben Simmons wasn't playing none at all. So now they get James Harden, sometimes a top 5 player in the league. Right now he's a top 10 player in the league. Some saying they don't know how it's gonna fit between James Harden and Joel Embiid. But I just watched James Harden play with KD, and they were absolutely fine, right? And then you have Tobias Harris, you have Matisse Thybulle to play defense. Philly, if we're just judging just raw talent, Philly is probably the most talented team in the league right now. That is what James Harden
All right,
going to.
we hear your opinion, J-Star. We'll move on because I'm saying we want to spend 10 minutes on this.
Yeah.
Kems, I'm going to leave you for last before me actually give my views. Chris Lynch, give me your views on the trade and tell me who you think won the trade. G-Star, same thing, Philly won the trade. What is your views, Chris?
The thing about this trade is that I really think that the Nets were more desperate and they didn't let the trade play out like it should have. Because the one fact is that James Harden was going to leave in the off season, and that means the Nets were more desperate because everybody know that Ben Simmons doesn't want to play for the 76ers, but he's still under contract. So I think that the Nets gave up too much. But I think that the Nets gave up too much.
The Nets gave up too much?
No, I think that the Philadelphia 76ers gave up too much because of James Harden was going to. I think that they were just trying to get him out because James Harden must be on the phone saying, I really need out. And it's obvious. Kevin Durant nitpick at him in the thing.
Yeah. But that was after the trade though.
Yes, but they still nitpick at him. So that because you could have still selected him. But you keep skipping around him, showing that there's a little tension there. Not because you're traded away means a brother can't draft you. We see people get traded away from teams and the star and the team wish him good or him wish back the star good. In this case, as two friends, it didn't look like that. You could see problem in the camp. I'm just from outside, it looks like problem was there obviously, but Like I said, the Philadelphia 76ers gave up too much, but I'm excited to see how Ben Simmons fit in this team. I think he has a lot of shooters around him, and with KD coming back, and Kyrie, I just think that it might play out that the Nets get the better trade. But depends on when Ben Simmons comes in and play, when James Harden comes in and play, whoever go further in the playoff, I think that determines, or in the next 2 or 3 seasons, I think that determines who win this trade, basically.
All right, Kems, give me your views on Kems.
All right, so obviously I do not know who win the trade. We haven't even seen a basketball player yet to say who win the trade or who don't win the trade. But
Yeah.
obviously my guess
On the face of it though, Kems. Come on, we are look at it from now. We can't give our opinions. Yeah.
For short term, for me, I think it's Philly because I think Philly window is right now. Philly wants to win right now with Joel Embiid having an MVP season, and James Harden ultimately has 2 years because he opted into next year's contract. So he has ultimately 2 years in order to win a championship. I think Ben Simmons has 3 years on his contract. I'm not sure about how Kyrie and them contract go, but listen. When I look at it, G-Star said it. James Harden right now is a top 10 player in the league. So if you have a top 5 and a top 10 player in the league, along with the other weapons that Philadelphia has, I believe that, they put themselves in good business. People think that losing Seth Curry is a big thing. I don't. Seth Curry couldn't defend a fly against don't forget against the Atlanta Hawks. He was one of the biggest liability on the court. Andre Drummond, we already saw what he was with the Lakers. And yes, he can grab rebounds. But, that's about it. In the buyout market, there's a lot of big guys who can grab rebounds. Robin Lopez in there, Tristan Thompson in there. So there's a lot of persons in there in the buyout market who can replace Andre Drummond easily. So I don't think Philly is losing any sweat. And obviously, you get an all-star type player, superstar at times. I think with the Brooklyn Nets, for me, it's too much what-ifs. I don't know what Ben Simmons is going to be. I don't see Ben Simmons play a basketball game from June or whenever it was, or April or May, or whenever that last time he played basketball. I don't see him play from then, so I don't know what it is going to be. I don't know what's going to happen with Kyrie's status. Can he play home games? Okay, I hear that Brooklyn is going to lift this, lift that. I'm still not sure what is going to happen. So, again, long term, it probably benefits Brooklyn better because probably Kyrie re-signed, KD re-signed, and then they keep that nucleus together and get some other pieces. But short term, right now, I think it has to be Philadelphia because I think Philadelphia wants to win now, and they get James Harden. James Harden is back with Daryl Morey, and that is when he played his best basketball. And I think they know how to. And they have a Hall of Fame coach as well. Brooklyn doesn't have a coach, so I think that's also another thing you have to take into consideration.
Gentlemen, we can welcome for the second time. I want to welcome Diego forward to the stream. Welcome, Diego.
All right, guys, welcome young geniuses. But yes or no?
Yeah.
Mr. Calls, I'm going to cut out and come back when I finish with Mr. Gordon, the millionaire.
All right, not a problem, Brent. So you're going to make an exit and forward back. We're probably about 12 minutes, Steve. So
you have an issue, before we go, I have an issue with Kems. Don't disrespect my New York side, but what was the word you used, boss?
What was that word?
If you use a word, well, but make him say New York Knicks have lost for 50 years and still the richest franchise in the world. What does that tell you? Greatness. But I'll be back.
All right, there you go. We have another 10 minutes or so, so feel free to join us back in the stream as soon as possible. All right, so Kems, that's your opinion. I respect your views. You think Sixers won the trade like G-Star. I agree with Chris Lynch that Chris Lynch didn't actually say who won the trade, but for me, Brooklyn won this trade and won it by some distance. So may I address the first thing you said about Seth Curry. Seth Curry wasn't the problem with the Sixers last year. With the Sixers last year.
He was a defensive liability. Ben Simmons was.
Ben Simmons' refusal to shoot free throws. All right.
In Brooklyn.
Hold on. What Philly lacked last year in shooting, the Nets have in bunches this year. You put Seth Curry on the court with Patty Mills. You're putting Seth Curry on the court. Why you scoffing?
No, man, that matters. It matters.
No, come on. Yeah.
You have no respect and love for Patty Mills?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All right, then.
This is
We'll
not
see
Patty.
it then.
This is not
You see
Patty
me.
Mills from San Antonio.
Listen,
It's not
Bridget.
Patty Mills
Come on, you
from
don't
San
rate
Antonio.
Patty Mills?
I know ballers
You
when
don't
we see
rate
them.
Patty Mills? Yes.
Kems, all right, Kems, hold on.
No, I never say I don't rate him.
Patty
I
Mills
never
is
say I
one of the
don't rate
most
him.
big-hearted players
Oh,
in the league.
That's
so you rate
good
him?
for him. That's good
All right,
for him.
that is a lion. When it give me Patty Mills in big games and big moments, he's gonna knock down those shots. And I think Seth Curry has the same mentality. Seth Curry showed that last year in the playoff against Atlanta.
But
At times he was the,
I think Patty Mills has more
at
grit
times
though.
in that Atlanta series
Patty
it
Mills
looked
has
like
more
the most.
grit.
No, but I'm saying at times in that Atlanta series, and I want you to go back and watch the games. Seth Curry last year looked like the Sixers' most potent scorer in a lot of those games. He was
Let me
not.
ask you
Hey,
a
we
question.
saw Seth Curry cook Paul George. You don't remember Seth
Let me
Curry
ask-
cooking Paul
let
George
me-
for like a couple games?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Pioneer. So tell me, when you finish giving your analysis, tell me your lineup with Patty Mills and Seth Curry on the court.
Come on,
After you
these are
finish your
people
analysis.
coming out. These are people coming off the bench, you know. But listen, Bridget, in a
No, but I
playoff
believe Kems
series,
is right though.
hold on, man. Just give me, you all give your views. Just give me a chance to give mine. See,
Yeah.
I'm saying in a playoff series, you need people who can knock down shots.
All right.
All right, you have Kevin Durant, you have KD, you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie who are going to draw double teams. You need, when them kick it out to shooters, you need shooters who are going to knock down the tree at a pretty good clip. Saying these are Kevin Durant and Kyrie are two of the most potent players, drivers to the basket. They're these G-style, you like call it the magnet effect or the gravity that they have, where they pull players to them. And when that happens, what you need is people who, when you kick it to them, them can knock down shots. All right, Seth Curry does that. You can't leave Seth Curry open on the perimeter. Saying so, for me, it's a plus him getting in on this trade. All right, Drummond, you said it earlier, Kems. Right now the Sixers are without a backup center. You mentioned a couple of names a while ago who in the buyout market, and obviously they will need to go for one of those. But for me, Drummond was playing pretty good at backup this year. I've seen games where he stood in for Embiid and actually looked like a better defender guarding the rim than Embiid. All right, so Andre Drummond will be a plus for the Nets because the Nets, as they are, have LaMarcus Aldridge at center and Blake Griffin playing center. That is thin. They were exploited there last year by Giannis in some of those games. So now they have a third big body in the paint at the rim for contend with Giannis. That's a plus again. Now Ben Simmons, as we all know, Ben Simmons is a young man. Yes, you mentioned the games, you haven't seen him playing basketball since last summer. Ben Simmons missed his first in his first year in the NBA. He missed the entire first season. All right, when he came in the second season, he looked like a superstar. All right, Ben Simmons missing 4 months of basketball this season. I don't think it will affect him that much. He might be a little out of shape. As I heard somebody comment yesterday, Ben Simmons has always been one of the players who have maintained the best shape in the NBA. So I can't see him taking more than a month or at least 3 weeks to get back into shape. And when he gets back into shape and is playing on the court for the Brooklyn Nets, he helps them defensively. Ben Simmons for me is one of the top 5 defenders in the NBA. He helps them with playmaking. Him take Kyrie and KD off the ball. So imagine Ben Simmons with the ball in his hand. He has Kyrie on the court, Kevin Durant on the court, Patty Mills on the court, and Seth Curry on the court. Kicking to. Hold on, I know you talk about defensively, but hold on, Bridget. Calm down.
Yeah.
See? But those are 4 of the most potent shooters in the NBA, brother. With Ben Simmons, one of the best playmakers, he with the ball in his hand.
Come on, it matters.
So,
it matters.
Of course, you mean what? You mean defensively?
Shooting matters.
What? Shooting?
No, it's a shooting matters. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so listen.
you just can't have them all on the court at the same time.
I know that, but I'm just saying there are gonna be positions where them probably are gonna bring them in at one time.
Can you?
Yeah, but hold on.
You,
Kev, 1 second. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
I think what Kev really just saying is that the Philadelphia 76ers could have afforded to give away Seth Curry. Like, he's not as big of a piece as people may think. I believe, as a Nets fan, I would have preferred Thibault.
Of course, you'd have preferred Thibault or Maxey.
Yeah.
However, but getting Seth
But
Curry
he's
is
a nice
a
piece.
plus, Bridget.
Yeah, he's a nice piece.
Thibault
a
is
nice
one of the
piece.
Thibault is one of the better defenders in the league, Bridget.
let me ask you.
Go
Let me
ahead.
ask you a question, Pioneer. So, can you play Ben Simmons in the last 5 minutes? Remember, for
We don't know.
free throw shooting is
We don't know.
we're going off based on what we saw last, because that I want to go off of when
Yeah,
we
it's
talk about
shaky. It's,
defense
of course.
and
And I'm a
playmaking
net
and
fan
all that.
Pioneer. It's shaky.
Remember in a Pioneer, I think Ben Simmons have the record for the worst free throw percentage ever in a playoff series. Ever. No Shaq, no all of those. Remember, Ben Simmons hold that record. So in the last 5 minutes of a crucial game, Ben Simmons won't be able to put on that strap defense, won't be able to hold the ball in his hands and distribute to whoever you want him to distribute to. So I think Ben Simmons is a liability. James Harden will be on the court at any point in time. Joel Embiid will be on the court
May I
at
get
any
to Joel?
point in time.
May I get
I'm
to
a counter to
Harden?
what you're
You know
saying, though, Kim.
Hold on.
Go
I'm
ahead,
Bridget.
Pioneer.
Gentlemen,
man,
just
go ahead.
allow me, because I allowed you guys forgive of you. So
Yeah,
just
that's
allow
okay,
me,
go ahead.
please. I haven't gotten even to Ben Simmons and the Sixers, but I'm just telling you the pluses. All right, the difference, the difference with where you just sent Kems. I don't know if I can't tell you yes or no whether Steve Nash should be willing to play him. But guess what? Ben Simmons is not one of the best, won't be required to be one of the best two players for the Brooklyn Nets. That's Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. So even if they chose to bench him in the last 5 minutes, saying it's still what he would bring throughout the course of a 48-minute game is still gonna assist the Brooklyn Nets. Great. Even that series, I want to go back and watch that series. Even that Atlanta series, Ben Simmons had some outstanding. I remember him blocking Trae Young from half of the 3-point line.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
Don't do that.
that's
Trae Young cooked him in that series.
No, man, no, that's not true. Not true.
Pioneer,
Not
you want
true,
to sit back and watch every single
Not
game.
true. Anyway,
Trae
listen
Young
to me.
cooked him in that game.
Not true.
Series. Cooked
Not
him.
true. That is not
All
true.
right.
Outside of his refusal to go to the basket because he feared going to the free throw line, Ben Simmons was excellent in that series defensively and as a playmaker.
That's not true.
Pioneer, that's a huge factor.
Come again.
That's a huge factor, Pioneer.
What factor?
The fact that he might not be on in the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, but I'm saying, listen, but may I say this, there's still gonna be Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Why people came down so hard on him in Philly is that he was their second best player. He was their second superstar.
What I will say,
yeah.
What I will say is that playing with KD and Kyrie, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that they will give Ben Simmons a certain amount of confidence. He will be catching alley-oops from Kyrie. KD is going to spot him for dunks. So his energy is going to be up and his confidence is going to be up.
Let me give you my opinion on the Sixers side of the trade right now. All right. As I tell people all over, you said you were talking about James Harden playing with Kevin Durant, G-Star. I didn't see that a lot. KD has shown that he can play with anybody. KD played with Russell Westbrook for how much years? How much years? Was it 7 years? How much years was he at the Thunder as a Westbrook? 8 years?
About 7 years.
7 or 8 years. Playing with Westbrook.
7 years. 7 years.
At the Thunder. See? KD showed that he can play with anybody. KD, all right. All right. And while James Harden was at the Nets, KD was out a bit and a while. And then James Harden, last year in the playoff, James Harden was out for the most part. And when he came back as a shell of himself. I've not seen James Harden playing point guard with a dominant big man like a Joel Embiid. I've not seen James Harden playing where he was required to be the second superstar, playing a role that he will be required to play in Philly. All right? I don't know how it will fit. The verdict is out. I has said that I don't think he will be a fit. I could be wrong. I'm gonna the next couple of weeks now the NBA will prove me right.
All
right.
Yeah.
However, don't forget that James Harden himself is a defensive liability. You're forgetting that in a game. You talk about set areas of defensive liability.
Not by the last statistics. Remember the last statistics as James Harden as well.
Come on.
All right.
Come on.
No, Pioneer. Last year with the Nets, he was decent. Trust me. Last year with the Nets. I'm not talking about anything else. Last year with the Nets, he was decent.
All right, listen.
He was actually a leader on defense.
I'm gonna wrap up. We have 10 minutes left. But I'm gonna wrap up by saying, with this trade, for me, short term, Brooklyn won it slightly. Over the long term, Brooklyn wins this trade largely. All right, Ben Simmons is gonna be with the Brooklyn Nets next year. Ben Simmons, obviously, as you said, G-Star playing alongside Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving will give him a certain level of confidence. All right, you know, rate the coaching of Steve Nash. For me, Steve Nash is not the greatest coach in the world, but I can see Ben Simmons at the Nets thriving. For me, I must tell people this right now: the East for me is a blood sport. The Bucks, the Heats, the Sixers, and the Nets. Those 4 teams, any one of those 4 teams can win the East for me. All right. With this trade, I think the Brooklyn Nets have increased their chances of winning out in the East if Ben Simmons comes back and plays like how I know he can play. All right. So for me, the Brooklyn Nets are the winner of this trade, and interesting days lie ahead. One of the games, one of the games I'm looking forward to, I'm gonna circle it on my calendar, is when the Sixers and the Nets play, and think they have a game late in the season.
March
Big
10th.
rivalry. Big rivalry now.
I'm circling that game on my calendar, and hopefully by then Ben Simmons will be back and Kevin Durant will be back, and we'll see how all of that goes. All right, gentlemen. By request and popular demand, we got some persons in the stream who said who asked us to discuss some other teams, and rightfully so. One of the teams that persons requested us to talk about, and I think we have not done this team much justice, is the Memphis Grizzlies. And the question for me is, how good really are the Memphis Grizzlies? What can they do in the West? How can they contend? Could we see them coming out of the West realistically? How good is the Memphis Grizzlies? G-Star, I'm going to start with you.
All right. So while I talk, you can just tell me who's at number 6, because Memphis is at 3 in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Denver.
So, all right.
Denver is currently sitting in.
Yeah. So let's just fast forward a little bit. I definitely believe they could beat a team like the Denver Nuggets. And who's at 5?
Dallas
Mavericks.
Dallas. So yeah. So the Mavericks or the Nuggets. Obviously, the Nuggets are probably the easiest squad to play against. Well, that's debatable. But I think Memphis is right there. I believe they can definitely win a first round series. Second round, then they'll be getting into Joe Burrow range where they're just gonna get hot, right? I like their squad, and then the Brooks. Is it Brooks, the shooting guard?
Dylan Brooks.
He's from Canada, huh?
He's out right now. He should be back soon.
Or he's not out for the season though. I think
No, man, he should be back soon. I was reading a report on him 2 days ago. He should be back soon.
Yeah, and then the guy Desmond Bain stepped up, and he's playing nice. And then they drafted the kid Zaire Williams at 10 in the draft, where people thought that was a reach. He's turning out nice, right? He's playing some ball, and he played some good defense on Steph Curry. I saw that. But anyway, that's a different story. And then Jaren Jackson. He's always been good still. He's always been good, but he's taken another step in his progression, right? Because he's been getting better every year. So they do have a nice squad, and then Steven Adams, a veteran center. So they have a nice squad. I believe I would say they will win a first round series. Memphis Grizzlies.
So you see them going as far as maybe the conference semifinal.
Yeah, second round.
Running into, all right. So for example, say they go to the conference semifinal, they will run into a Golden State. So you see that going?
No man, I'd have to go with the Warriors. Come on, Pioneer. But you know that they have confidence. I think Ken said it before. But Memphis beat them in the playoff game last year. Even though Ja Morant respects Steph Curry to the roof, he wants to take Steph Curry's spot, right? So he has that hunger in him, and he transforms his squad still. So I'm gonna give him that, because nobody thought Memphis would be right here, right now, and we didn't think that Memphis would have been where they were last year either, right? So it's a nice team. The chemistry is nice. They play well together offensively and defensively. I don't know who the coach is, but the coach should probably get some of the credit too.
Kems, what are your views on the Memphis Grizzlies?
I've tried to hate on the Memphis Grizzlies all season. I tried to hate and I tried to downplay their success, but I'm looking here and points per game they're third, rebounds per game they're first, steals per game they're first, blocks per game they're first. So now when you look at all these things, this and obviously they're third in the West right now in I think they were 39 and 18, and the Warriors are 41 and 15. So
They are 2.5 games behind the Warriors.
yeah, so that second position is if Draymond don't come back in time and Steph Curry still continues in his slump, that second position is very attainable. Again, when you have the mentality of a Ja Morant and it trickle down to even the last player on the bench, these guys just play absolutely fearless. They play team basketball, and again, it's not only on the offensive end. They D up as well. They play good. They are good defensively. They have the anchor, and Steven Adams, doing his thing out there. And as G Star mentioned, when Dylan Brooks come back, that man is a lockdown defender. Steph Curry don't like see that man. That man gives Steph Curry fits. So and then Desmond Bain has come into his own. Jackson is doing well. Long, lanky, stretch floor. So hey, your guess is as good as mine. I wouldn't bet my money against Memphis. I think obviously they're a little bit too young now. Give them another year or two, and they should probably be in a conference finals. Right now, they're playing some good basketball for sure.
How do you see them stacking up in a series against the Phoenix Suns or the Golden State Warriors?
Well, I think if they play against the Phoenix Suns, because they play very hard. I think if they play against the Phoenix Suns, I think they'll go to 6 games, and I think they're losing 6. I think if they play against the Warriors, I think a bounce here or there, the bounce here or there can give them. But I would pick the Memphis in a series against the Warriors. Obviously, you guys know I'm not sold on the Warriors as you guys are. I don't think they're as good as other people make them out to be. So I will go with Memphis to beat the Warriors for sure.
Not serious. Interesting enough, note they were the team that knocked out Golden State out of the play-in last year.
Absolutely.
But that was a different Golden State Warriors team. I too am big on the Grizzlies. I responding to a preacher who said Memphis goes where Grizzlies goes as Ja Morant goes. I disagree. I think they have depth. Kems tried to make that point earlier. I disagreed with Kems, and I'm disagreeing with you to preacher. I think Memphis has depth. Even on their bench, they have people like Melton, Anderson, Clark, Conker, these are people who score for them coming off the bench. They have scoring coming off the bench. They have a solid squad. I think they are young, they're exciting. Inexperience might be their downfall, but I think they have the experience of the playing on a first round playoff series last year. Everybody on their squad for me have grown. I watched this team without Ja Morant, and this is to answer Preacher's thing. I watched this team without Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. led the team capably. All right, and this was without Brooks was there for a part of the time when Ja Morant was out, but Brooks was out like a couple of those games too. And without Brooks and Ja Morant, they held their own. They won number of games. They had a winning record without their 2 best players. So this speaks to a good squad. I think they are a team for the future. I think just the quality of those top 2 teams in the West will be what holds out Memphis this year. I think Golden State is a little bit too much for them this year. With Klay Thompson coming back, with the depth that Golden State has in their bench right now, it will be a good series. I could give Memphis 2 games in a series against Golden State. The match, as I see Preacher making the note that they match up well against Golden State, but I think just the depth and experience at Golden State, Clay, Draymond Green, and Steph, and the cast would be a little too much for them this season. I definitely think that they would stand less of a chance against the Phoenix Suns, but I could see them in the conference semifinal. I agree with G Star when you said they could knock off a Denver or a Dallas. not easily, but I could see them knocking off Denver. So I would pick them to go as far as the conference semifinal this year. But they're a dangerous young team, and they're a team for the future. The next team we want to look at, gentlemen, and we're going to wrap up in 10 minutes. We want to look at the Chicago Bulls and how good are the Chicago Bulls in the East, and what could we see Chicago doing in the East versus the big four that I just mentioned earlier. G-Star, we're going to start with you again on this one.
The Bulls were my team last year when they got Vujacic, that I thought would have made a run into the play-in, right? It didn't really happen. They got DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and Caruso. They had a nice draft pick by the name of Patrick Williams, like an athletic 6'8", kind of do-it-all type player, kind of like a Jeremy Grant type player in that type of mold. He's now injured for the season. I think with the new additions of DeRozan and Lonzo, even though Lonzo's out, it kind of brought a culture to the squad. You know, Lonzo is a defender where Zach LaVine doesn't really have to play defense too tough, right? But they gave away a baller that I really like, Lauri Markkanen. He's in Cleveland right now. I thought they should have kept him. They didn't. And they have I think they have a little bit of depth, some depth issues. Dwayne Wade, I don't know too much of him, but Dwayne Wade likes the baller or something. If you can remember, if you know his games, you know what I'm talking about? He's a starter on the Bulls actually right now.
Or for Bulls?
Yeah, I think he's a rookie.
That's who I talk about, man.
Yeah.
That's who I am, man.
Yeah. So I'm listening to D Wade on that one, saying that, boy, you know, he loves him as a rookie and he's going to take strides, right? I personally haven't seen that yet.
You're
so you like him?
Yeah, man. He's decent, man. Decent. Go ahead. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think the Bulls, though, ultimately, to be a contender, you need top-end talent. And even though DeRozan's an MVP candidate, he's still, even Zach LaVine, they're not top-end talent. We saw Zach LaVine in the Olympics against a baller like KD. It's just night and day. Very nice ballers. Vujacic is a nice center, but maybe they'll win the first round, or like a first-round series. But in terms of contending with the top three, you have four, I have three. I don't have Miami in there, right? Yeah, I don't have Miami in there as a real contender. So the Bulls are a nice team, but at the end of the day, though, they will be outed in the playoffs.
All right. Kems, give me your opinion.
I don't know how you say you don't have Miami as a contender, but anyway, for the Bulls, right? So the Bulls is number one in field goal percentage right now, 48.3, and Phoenix obviously is second in 48% flat. And I think the Bulls is tied for third in free throw percentage. So obviously that means that, hey, when you put them at the line, you know, they're going to knock down their free throws. However, right now the Bulls are third in the East, but that third can easily turn to seventh, or it can go up to number one, you know, depending on how you look at it, how you look at the schedule. All right. I know you try. I don't know if you're trying to downplay Vucevic or Vujacic or whatever I'm on name. But he is a top 5 center in the league right now, to me. You know, I think he's a top 5 center. I think he's a big time talent. Yep, center in the league right now. I think he's a big time talent. I think in Orlando, he wasted a lot of his time. You know, now he's with a contender, so you see what he's doing. DeRozan, obviously Caruso when he comes back, big defensive presence, annoying guy in his system, Patrick Beverly-like, and obviously can shoot the three. But again, just like Memphis, I think, you know, I don't think a team who you just assemble can go ahead and go all the way. Depending on because let me tell you something about the playoffs, and I'm sure you guys know this because you guys know basketball. Matchups are extremely important, you know, and I'm sure the Bulls they want to avoid the Bucks at all costs. They probably want to avoid the Miami Heat too at all costs. You want to avoid certain teams at all costs before. You don't want to play them in the first round because you know you want to get your feet wet into the playoffs. But so I think the Bulls, depending on where they finish, I think they can win a playoff series if they avoid the Bucks and the Heat and obviously the Sixers, in the first round. But if they meet any of them, then the first round knockout. Anybody else, I think they can win a first round matchup. But I think that's it for the Bulls.
All right, Chris Lynch, we're discussing. I don't know if you're following while you were out. We're discussing how good do you think the Memphis Grizzlies are in the West, and how good do you think the Chicago Bulls are in the East. We're discussing the Bulls right now, so I'm gonna give you a chance to give us your views on how good you think the Chicago Bulls are in the East, what you think they could do, and then.
Gone again, man.
All right, gentlemen. Let me give you my views on the Bulls. When the season started, Chris Lynch is back with us. Why is that, Chris? You want in or out, Chris? So
Yeah, I don't know. My internet wasn't giving me much just now, so that's why I came off. You were breaking up. But about the Bulls?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry to the viewers that I am experienced like you guys and that I don't really get excited about the regular season seeing teams play good because especially when for a long time, because I'm used to that. I'm used to teams playing good, but the playoffs is just a different beast, people. The playoffs is where all of this work that you put in now, that's where it means something. So, but the Bulls are playing very good basketball. I think that they can create an upset because they have experience in DeRozan. But I can't see them winning the East at all, or even going to the final.
All right, so yeah, see. What do you think about Memphis in the West? Oh, Christian's obviously having problems with the internet people. All right, so let me expound on my thoughts on the Chicago Bulls. All right, experience in the playoff is key. DeMar DeRozan, as much as he's having an MVP season this year, when we have seen him in the playoffs for the Toronto Raptors, he has come up a little bit small. I think this year will be somewhat of he'll be required to redeem himself this year in the playoffs. This is a litmus test for him. He has a fairly decent cast. I like Vucevic. I like Zach LaVine. Lonzo Ball should be back. One of the players who I like in their squad is this youth, Kobe White. I like Kobe White. I think he plays with heart. He plays with guts. And he knocks down shots when he's required, and he does well when he's on the court for the Chicago Bulls. DeRozan, this is now where I say a team will go as far as someone takes them. The Bulls will go as far as DeRozan takes them for me. So DeRozan, if he requires or desires, if he desires some amount of redemption, all right, here is an opportunity for him to try and redeem himself. The last time we saw him in the playoffs in Toronto, he came up really, really small. He might have a chance now to
really, really small.
Yeah, man, he came up small, man. He came up small for Toronto.
Just continue. That's all. Go
on. He could knock off one of the big four. Somebody just said 5 teams in the East are playing on the same level. The East is crunched. It's a tightly bunch. Actually, first to 10th in the East is separated by 9.5 games. All right, so I agree with you, Kems, that they could end up at the top of the East. They have been to the top, fell off the 4th, and came and went back to the top again. So they could end up anyway for me from anywhere from 1 to 9th actually, because Toronto Raptors are on the up and up. They were 2 weeks ago. Toronto was in 12th in the East. Now they're in 6th. The Celtics were in 13th in the East not so long ago. Now they are in 7th. All right, and the Nets have fallen from grace. Atlanta is trying to make a push. The Hornets was at 3rd or 4th one time. Now they are all the way down in 9th. The Wizards was in the top 2 or top 3 at one point, and now they are sitting in the 11th and going down. And the Knicks are trying to make a push. But back to the Chicago Bulls, I can't see them cracking. For me personally, I can't see them cracking that top 4, the big 4 that I just mentioned. But DeMar DeRozan could do his his name and his legacy. You know, he could add a lot to his legacy if he were to lead this Chicago team to at least maybe this conference semifinal or possibly the conference final. If he could knock off any one of these big four teams, it would do a lot in enhancing his legacy. If he could play well and bring his team, you know, to the conference semifinal or to the conference final. But personally, I don't see it happening. Go ahead, G-Star.
You're talking about the Celtics. A low-key trade that I really, really like is I think it's White, Derek White
From
San Antonio.
Yeah, man. I watched him last night. He was teaming for I watched that game last night.
Low key. It's a low key. It's not that big, but you see what he brings to the team. He brings kind of exactly what they need.
I had planned to
So
discuss
I
that.
really like that trade
In
for
making the
Boston.
notes for this podcast, I had actually made that as a note, but we only discussed the big trade. We didn't get to the other minor trades. But I like that. I watched him last night. He was key last night for Boston. He played really well last night. So I'm gonna be watching him. I liked him at the Spurs. I think, you know.
Yeah, man, he's a good player.
Good
He's
player.
a good player. He plays defense, and you don't know anybody who comes from Popovich has the system down. When to shoot, when to pass, when to dribble.
I think he earned a few fans in that game last night. He played for the Celtics.
Absolutely.
No, Boston will love you. Boston is one of those cities that they will absolutely love you.
They needed every inch of those 15 points that you gave them last night.
Pagan 180 said it's a boxer versus everybody else in the East. For me, Pagan 180. The East, as I said, is a blood sport. I like the competitive nature of the East right now. Looking and anticipating what will happen for the rest of the regular season and how the playoff positioning will take shape. And a lot will be determined by that. I could see the fancied Milwaukee Bucks, even though I had them coming out of the East before now. I could see a scenario where they probably don't make the conference final. So the East is a blood sport for me. Gentlemen,
for the record,
yeah.
I have the Nets coming out the East today now. For the record, even though you hear me saying, Philly won this trade and all that, I still have the Nets coming out to the East.
Oh, you see that? Kems? No, he's a Miami Heat, man. What you say? Who is coming out to the East?
Yeah, G-Star is crazy, but the Nets not even winning a playoff series. But again, down to matchups for me. But right now, every side fully healthy. I'm looking at the Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I have Philly winning in 7.
So even though you think Giannis is the best player in the NBA,
yep,
and you're big on the Milwaukee Bucks,
yep,
you don't see them making the conference.
I think the Bucks going to run up in Philly, and I think Joel Embiid can neutralize Giannis. And then we need the others to step up. And I don't trust Chris Middleton to step up. I don't trust... obviously, they trade away some pieces as well. They trade away, I think it's Divichenko or something like that to name. I think he's a big-time shooter for them.
Divichenko. And important to Pat Connaughton broke his hand in that game. I think that, and he was big for them in the finals last year.
Oh gosh,
he was their main 3-point shooter last year. When people like Bryn Fabs was coming up small, he was the man knocking down shots last year. He broke his hand.
Yeah, that's a big loss. That's a big loss for them, and he's been with them for about 5 years now.
Yeah, man. But he was one of the foundation cornerstones of that franchise.
He's a stopgap kind of guy. When other team making a run, and you need a play from your team.
Oh yeah, man, he always comes up big in critical moments. I think that's a big loss for them. How long he'll be out is another thing. You see, at this point in the season, you would probably want your player to get injured in November or early December. For a player to get injured at this point of the season, when the playoff is 6 weeks, 2 months away, then it's kind of dicey.
So we have coming out the West, Kems, since obviously me and Pioneer against the Warriors. So who you have coming out the West?
Well, we know what Kems them. Kems the Suns are the best team in basketball.
Yeah, the Suns, obviously. Yep.
So it's okay. So it's
to answer the question, Pagan 180. We're talking about Pat Connaughton from the Bucks.
The Milwaukee
Key for
Bucks.
me, he's key. He was big in the finals last year in that comeback from 2-0 down. He knocked down critical shots at critical moments in that series, and he's definitely gonna be a loss for the
No,
Bucks.
he
He
didn't
broke his
miss.
hand
Yeah,
in the
man, he didn't miss.
Bucks Suns game. All right, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We are hour and 45 minutes in. We're gonna wrap up. It was another good podcast. We want to thank you again, G Star, for being here with us. Kems,
Yeah, man.
Virgin. As the weeks go by, even though I know you have your purple and gold bias, I've grown to kind of respect your basketball acumen, and I like having you on the podcast, and Virgin. We're gonna invite you whenever we're on,
No problem,
and
man.
you're available. I want to thank
Absolutely.
Chris Lynch. Obviously, he's having a little problem with his internet. I want to give thanks to Diego for popping in, and I want to thank those persons who have joined us in the stream. Pagan 180, Paper Plate, give thanks for being here. The soul female who came in, I think her name is Heinz.
Paula,
yeah. Kem's fellow Lakers supporter. Big up Gunners boss, Spiner. It's always good to have him, my brethren. He's a man who supports the podcast. So give thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is I Am Sure Sports, and this has been another one of our in the series around the NBA. We'll continue to do this. Next weekend we have the All-Star break. We'll do another podcast on Monday or Tuesday. You'll get the notification as to when we are gonna be on. And then we'll definitely do another podcast right before the All-Star break. We didn't even get to look at the All-Star teams, but we'll do that next week before, and we'll look at events leading into the All-Star weekend. For I Am Sure Sports and around the NBA, I am Pioneer. Good to have been here. Thank you very much to have joined us. See you again soon.
yes, sir.